So this is the Candy Box project. You're basically using all of the skills you learned last week from Photoshop to create a six-sided candy box and the given requirements that I've handed out in class. So here's your starting point. You should have a template. Now notice that there are two layers. Layer 1 is basically blank. Layer 2 is your candy box. Please don't resize this or shrink it in any way because we want all the candy boxes to turn out the same size. Now, to start your candy box, you may want to block out some colors. A lot of people think the easiest way to do that is to just drop a color in with a paint bucket. That is actually a pretty easy way, but you're going to end up with every single plane the same color. And if that's what you're choosing to do, the paint bucket is a great choice. I, on the other hand, would like to have different sections, different colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer for each color, just so I have them kind of separate from each other. And I just take my selection tool, drag a selection. Now notice this is a little bit off, just the way that this template was scanned in, so don't let it bother you too much there. And I could now drop in color separately if I wanted. I also could use my gradient tool and slide a color through. And if I wanted to do another section, I could do all of these on the same layer if I wanted to, or I could make new layers for each piece. So here's my next section. That way, if I decided I wanted my middle spine of the box to be a totally separate color, for instance, maybe I'm going with blues and oranges for complementary colors, I could do these pieces all separately. So I'm going to make one more layer here, and here's a spine. So that's just kind of a comment on how to start filling space. Now, I'd like everyone to make sure you open a junk document. Basically, junk meaning lots of pictures you're going to be using. So my concept is tennis treats. I needed to gather some images of athletes, a tennis ball, my nutrition facts, and my barcode, and I'm going to put them all on a separate document. So here's kind of what I have started. I have two different layers, and I'll show you how to open this document. You're just going to go File, New, and I'm going to name it Candy Pics, just so that I remember those are just the pictures I'm putting on the candy box. Now you want it to be 8.5 by 11 inches, 72 for the resolution, because we're using pictures we find on the internet, and usually their resolution is quite a bit lower, like a 72. And I keep the background transparent. Now I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to go online and find pictures that I'd like to use on the candy box. Nice little break there with the bell. Now I do want to make sure to choose pictures that would be useful. So if it's something like this, may or may not be really useful unless I was filling up the whole space. I want things I can actually cut the entire person out of. I also wanted to do a little quiz on the back of the candy box that showed them with their trophies. So I think I'll go with this one. Actually, you'll notice every once in a while you'll find a picture that doesn't let you take it, and that's okay. So I'm going to just start gathering my pictures and setting up my workspace. So phase 1 of the candy box is to block out some colors for the background and to gather some images that you're going to be using. My next tutorial is going to show you how to actually take your pictures and start placing them on the candy box, and also some different special effects you might want to try out, such as using layer styles for text and what to do if you run into any trouble.